YouTubers. Well, after a brief interlude last week where I did a review of my SNES, so Geordie Geek, this is Geordie Geek, but that was a geeky thing. Back to usual channel this week, we're talking about sneakers. And this week I have bought, well, I made a choice. Do I buy these or do I buy the Virgil Air Prestos? And I decided to buy these. I could have bought for the same price, more or less, the Virgils for resale. So what did I buy? Well, you've seen the title, as always, and what we have here today is the Nike HyperAdapt 1.0s. These are UK 11s, which are 12s. They fit true to size, exactly true to size. I'm usually somewhere between half a size under to true to size of Nike, depending exactly what they are. These fit exactly true to size. Don't go half down, don't go half above, get your true to size. These are exactly that fit. And this is what they came in. So what did I do? So I signed up via the Nike app very quickly to have one of the sessions over in the Nike London store on Oxford Street, which I had this week on Tuesday at 11 AM. And that's what I did. Turned up at 11 AM, there's a dude stood at the front, sends you upstairs to the second floor. There's a bit of an experience where you go in, there's a cube thing, and I'll show the video at the end here. Rather than do the usual on foot video, I'll show the video at the end, which is the experience I had. The short experience is just a little cube thing, and some of the images I took of the sneaker while I was in London. I've been wearing these for 3 days, so didn't buy them to flip them, bought them to wear them. Been wearing them for 3 days. I know exactly how they feel, I know how comfortable they are, and I'll get to that when I go through the review. And what else happened upstairs? So you go upstairs, you sit in a seat, a very nice, one of those Eames chairs that looks like a baseball glove. You put a VR headset on. I'd love to say I met Tinker in person, but I didn't. I met Tinker in VR. And you get a little VR thing, which is here, which I'll show you later. And so you sit in the chair, you're sort of sat in his office. He comes in, sort of explains where EARL comes from, EARL and the HyperAdapts. And then when you take the headset off, bit of theatre, bang, your HyperAdapts that you pre-ordered are there for you. You don't have to buy them, but I made the choice. I bought them. You know how much they are. Don't have to tell you in this video. They are ridiculously priced, but for what is essentially what they said is the first iPhone, I thought it was worth it. So without further ado, without any massive grandeur, let's get into the box. Okay, so this is what happens when you take the lid off the box. This massive box, by the way, it's huge. This is what happens is you get this top half, which is your electronic gubbins, and this bottom half, which is your sneakers. Like I said, I've had these on the last 3 days, so I've done a quick Jason mark on them, quickly cleaned the soles for the video, and you'll get to see it. So what's in this top bit, the gubbins bit? So let's have a quick look. I'll get the sneakers out. In this gubbins bit, you get a little box, and inside the box is a UK plug, because this is the UK, and you get 2 of these chargers, which are magnetic chargers, which hit to the bottom of the shoe. So when you need to charge a shoe up, which is once every 2 weeks, they say, you pop these chargers on, one on each shoe. There's a dual cable that goes into the UK plug. About 3 hours of charge gets you about 2 weeks of use, which is pretty good, to be honest. And in the 3 days I've been using it, nowhere near any issues. I've got to say I've had them on and off a lot of times, because every time I went into an office and they went, oh, what's those? And I explained it to them, I have to take them on, I have to take them off. People taking videos. I'm sure there's videos all over the place of the offices I've been in London of me putting these on and off. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the sneakers themselves. So let's pop them out. Here we go. Here is the Nike HyperAdapt 1.0, also known as the EARL. And a quick 360 for you as you go around. Now these are available in 2 colours. There was this colour, which is the white and blue, and I just love the colours as they come up the side here. They're absolutely gorgeous. Or there was the standard sort of Nike University red, which was a black sole. It was a red, no, I think it was I can't remember what colour the unit was, it certainly wasn't blue, and the swoosh is red on a black trainer. This, for me, it's the OG, it's the original colourway, and it's still the best. I think I've seen a couple of other colourways that may or may not be coming out. This one's gorgeous, and my buddy, NYC Sneaker Freaker, told me these were the ones to get, and I generally trust what he says, because he knows a lot more about Nike sneakers than I do. I could probably outdo him on the Adidas though. And there you go, it is gorgeous, and here is a freshly Jason marked sole. I have no idea what the MT squared stands for. Inside the unit I'll explain as it goes on. So let's get the sneakers out and let's bin the box. Now what I can tell you, because I had a look, I've had a really good look, is there's nothing else in the box. There are no instructions for these sneakers at all, which is a bit bewildering. I had a look online to see if I could find any instructions, none. The girl that took me through the demo wasn't an amazing demo, to be honest. It was okay, but she didn't, you know, tells you how to put them on and off and how to loosen them and fasten them, but there are some annoyances or, you know, things you need to know about these sneakers when you're using them. So that's the two pairs. So what you can see as we get them up close is you've got the blue Nike swoosh, which again is a gorgeous blue on that right hand sneaker, and on the left hand sneaker is EARL itself, which is I can't remember exactly, electro adaptive reactive lacing, I think, is what they've called it, which is generally twaddle, to be honest. I mean, it's a nice way, you know, they probably came up with EARL and found out a way of reverse engineering that to something, but it's really nice. Let's look at the EARL one in a bit more detail so you can see what you're getting here. Now, one interesting thing is, as I've been wearing these for 3 days, I wasn't sure if they were heavy or not. You know, are they heavy? They felt a bit heavy. You know, I've got very sort of, you know, my knees are a bit funny with heavy shoes, which generally I try to wear the lighter ones. But then I've weighed them, and at the minute I'm wearing some LD Zeros, some Nike LD Zeros. The Air Maxes, they're 450 grams, and these are 550 grams, more or less. 100 grams is not much for what's actually in here. I think they've done a really good job of keeping the weight of this sneaker down. So you can see the white sole. There's a couple of things I've noticed with the white sole. One is it marks quite easy. You can see a couple of marks there, which haven't really come off super easily with the Jason mark. And you can see it also creases. So as I've worn it for the 3 days, you've got these compression creases that have come in, which was a bit disappointing, to be honest. I mean, it's obviously a feature of the shoe and as you wear it, but I wouldn't, you know, I don't really like that. I think it's a bit disappointing. I would have expected the material, which is a bit more, you know, uncreasable, a bit more hard wearing on the sole, but that's a feature of the shoe. You can see as you come round, as I mentioned earlier, you've got this gorgeous colourway coming up on the sides. You've got sort of like turquoisey blue, which is reflecting up from this unit on the bottom. On the back, you've got this part here, which is hard plastic, and there's also lights on the back that indicate the charge levels. You've got a pull tab on the back here, which is fabric, and it doesn't actually feel that well made, to be honest. It feels a bit, you know, like it could tear or it could come off reasonably easily. Let's see how durable that ends up being. As we come around, we've got the colours again, and if you look at the front, it's got a sort of a pattern across it, which goes in a sort of circular motion, and then you have a toe. If we have a quick look at the laces before we get down, these are like plastic tubes. So it's like a sort of nylon braided tube, and inside the tube is the lacing system, which is actually wires, and they're inside the tube. So when they're on, these look a little bit like laces, but what they're actually doing is, number one, they're protecting the tongue against the wire, and number two, they're giving a sort of a lace look to the shoe itself. How does it work? How does the EARL, the electro adaptive reactive lacing work? Well, again, this is really clever, and when you think about how much you pay for them for what you get, it's not that horrendous, to be honest. So what it is in this base unit, in the MT squared, whatever that means, you have a circular motor, and every time you put the shoe on, inside the sole here is a pressure sensitive plate. It senses the weight of your foot on there, which kicks the motor off. The motor starts to turn circular wise, which in turn pulls cables down the sides here, which are linked to the laces on both sides, and that tightens the shoe around your foot. And what they've done, I guess, through testing, years of testing one assumes, is they've decided what the right pressure is for your foot. I've got to be honest, when it went on my foot, pretty good pressure. Wasn't too tight, wasn't too loose. Through the day I loosened them off a bit just to have a bit of a looser shoe, but when you first put them on, it was exactly right, to be honest. They've done that with the shoe, so when you put it on, it tightens up around, it stops, and that's it. And that's the shoe on your foot. It's pretty cool, you know. It makes a loud noise, a little bit like a sort of a drill. And you'll hear that when I try the shoes on and show you how they work, because I'm going to quickly try and show you how they work as well. I haven't found a review online that actually explains properly how they work, and because I can't find any instructions anywhere, I've had to sort of work it out for myself, but I have worked it out now. Through the day, when you're wearing the shoe, you've got two buttons here. You've got a sort of a plus and a minus, which are on the side. And if you want to loosen the shoe off, which you press the bottom button, and that loosens the shoe off. And if you want to tighten the shoe a little bit more, you press the top button. The videos I've seen from Nike are basically saying if you're a basketball player or you're going running and you want to tighten your shoe up, you can quickly tighten it. Or if you're sitting on the bench and you're having a bit of a timeout, you can loosen it off your foot. That makes sense. They say the version 2 of this is the HyperAdapt 1.0. They say the version 2 of this will be a basketball shoe, which is great because I don't want a basketball shoe. So I'm very happy to buying a version 1 for me is not losing out on a generation of anything. What else to say? The sole pattern's really nice. I really do like the sole pattern. As you can see, you've got that zigzag sole. This does get a bit scuffed through the day, I've noticed, especially on these edges. And you can feel it as you hit it and scuff it, but not really much of an issue. And it's pretty hard wearing durable plastic on the base. Really nice pattern. I mean, a gorgeous shoe. I mean, it's a good looking shoe on, and you'll see some of my Instagram pictures from London at the end. It looks really good on. Great talking point within the officers. I think if you're into sneakers and you can afford it, you really want to do something which is different and have a shoe which is different, this really hits all the right boxes for me. And I've enjoyed them. I've enjoyed wearing them. They've been just right on my feet. Let's talk about the comfort actually. So I'm hoping they break in a bit more. They are quite a stiff shoe. Compared to say my LDs, which I'm wearing at the minute, which are great, my LD Zeros, the fragment design ones, they almost fit out the box and they're super comfy out the box. I've got some Air Max 95s downstairs. They were super comfy out the box. When I first wore these for a couple of hours, I wore them with short socks on. Didn't work. You can feel it rubbing around your ankle here, and I had to start wearing long socks, which is a shame because obviously short socks look a lot cooler with these on. So wearing long socks was instantly more comfortable, but additionally this is quite stiff on this outer side here. Very stiff sole, not sole, but very stiff upper. So I'm hoping this loosens off over time and gets a bit more comfortable as you're wearing it. It's a fairly durable shoe, and it's built to last. I mean, this is one of the other good things about it. I mean, this is a built to last shoe. This sole's not going anywhere soon. This upper's not going anywhere soon. It's not flying it. You certainly, it's a little bit of breathability in it, but not a huge amount, but it's not flying it, but it's not hot either. And actually coming into the autumn and winters we are in the UK here, this is going to be a perfect shoe. It's really good. So there we go. That's the end of that. What I'm going to do now is quickly show you how they work on foot. And that should give you some indication about how they work, and so also some of the sounds. And then I'm going to tail off the video with, as I said, some images of me. There's a short video. So when I was doing the Nike experience, they do a video, some cameras there, and you look up at the camera and you move your feet around a bit, and then they send you a video by email. So I'll tag that video on the end. A couple of images of this sneaker when I was out and about in London. Great images. Follow me on Instagram if you like. So that's Geordie Kicks on Instagram, Geordie Kicks, no XS. I'm too old for that sort of youthful shenanigans. So Geordie Kicks, just pictures of my trainers basically. And also, again, it's a long video, I do apologise, but this is a very expensive shoe as well. I think it does warrant a long video. Subscribe, be one of those. And leave a comment below. I always reply. I always have a bit of a chin wag with whoever wants to chat about sneakers and trainers. Happy to chat with you guys. So let's have a look at it on foot and let me show you how it works. Okay, let's have a look at how these sneakers work. You can see I've got my LDs on. There you go. I'll move this one out of the way. And I've got my socks on because, as I said, these can be a bit painful around the ankle. So there's a sneaker. This is it on the undone state. It's fairly simple. Basically, you put your foot in. It would have been great if you didn't have to do this, because it would have been much cooler if you could have just chucked your foot in and off it went. But you do have to pull the back, unfortunately. So you put your foot in, put the weight on, and you can hear now it just tightens up around your foot to what it deems to be the perfect tightness. You can see this lights on the bottom, which also tells you an indication of the battery level. And there's some lights on the back again, which tell you an indication of the battery level. And they're pretty cool. When you do that in the office, lots of people are going, "What's those lights? What's going on?" And that's them on. So we'll wait for the light to go off. Bang, so that's the light off. So now the light's off, I can do one of two things. So the first thing is I can press the top button here, and that tightens them up. And I can make them hyper tight, that is there. They're now hyper tight on my foot. If I needed to tighten them up, that's worked pretty well. So we'll wait for the light to go out again. Do a little flashy, there we go. And then the other thing is to take them off. So there's two ways you can take them off. So the first one is to press the bottom button and just keep your finger on it, and they will loosen. You can do it slowly or fast or whatever. But what I've found is there's actually a two-stage untightening. So you press the bottom button until it and it untightens, and there's a slight pause. And then as it does that pause, you can take your finger off and it will just continue untighten on its own. So I'll show you how that works. You ready? There's the pause, and then just take it off and it continues to untighten. And then you just slip your foot straight out of it there. And again, you can see the levels going on with the lights. And basically that's it. There's not really much else to say about them. That's as much as they work. Again, as I said, inside the heel, pressure sensitive cup, put your foot in. Now they don't actually work again until the lights go out. So when you've taken them off, as I do and take them off in the office and show people, you have to wait for the lights to go out, because if you put your foot in while the lights are still on, nothing happens. So now the lights are out, I can do that again, put some pressure on, and you hear that sort of drill-like motor going on as it whirs around and pulls the wires in, and then bang, that's on my foot. Okay, one last thing which I'd mentioned at the beginning, which I forgot to put into the video, is this little thing. There's nothing amazing, so it'll be very quick. So at the end of the HyperAdapt demonstration I got in the Nike store, the assistant gave me one of these, and it's actually a build-it-yourself Nike HyperAdapt 1.0 VR headset. So it comes on the back, which is instructions on how to pull it to bits. It's one of those things they buy as a brand from China and they brand them up. But it's basically a do-it-yourself headset. So I can pull it out, and then inside it's the standard DIY VR headset. I'm quite pleased with this. I will make it later on. It's going to look like a standard Google Cardboard headset on my face. But it means I've got a free Google Cardboard. I don't have to pay for it, although there's loads of them hanging around. And that'd be quite good. And what they do is when you get the video from the HyperAdapt experience, you also get a link to the video of the VR version of the Tinker introduction that you got on the VR headset that was there, so I can watch that again. You never know, there might even be some instructions on there on how to use these sneakers, but I sincerely doubt it. So that was just a really quick segue. Now we're going to have a quick look at some of the video that I took at the Nike store in London and some of my Instagram pictures. So for the second time, Geordie Geek, over and out.